Welcome and thank you for joining today. My name is Alan Thiel with Midwest Machinery Company. I have been working with Midwest Machinery, previously Amundsen Peterson and Stevens County Implement, out of our Morse location since the summer of 1980. My background started as a service technician, but has also put me in many other positions within the company over the years. My current position of working with job codes for service department, as well as working with training for both internal employees and customers, gives me the opportunity to work with many great people throughout central Minnesota. The newest entry into the year of 2020 that we had the opportunity to witness this fall is the all-new X9 Series Combine. I had the opportunity to get some time in the seat of this machine, doing a few demos late this fall. This X9 1100 is the largest combine in the John Deere lineup for 2021, and coupled with a 16-row 30-inch corn head on the front, this is a real corn eating machine. To start with, the corn head on the front of this machine is a C16F, which is a 16-row 30-inch spacing folding head. For 2021, the model lineup will be a 6, 8, 12, 16, or 18-row rigid head, or a 12, 16, or 18-row folding head. Some of the major updates to these new corn heads include a 19-inch auger with a deeper flighting for more capacity while maintaining a gentle feeding action, a standard rolled floor which maintains a consistent gap and no dead spaces for cobs to hold up and cause kernel damage. Also, the auger turns slower than the older models for less grain damage, but still has the capacity for bigger acres per hour. Active end fenders will reduce ear loss in down corn and can be turned on or off from the cab as needed. Also, easily raise and lower integrated end fenders extensions for standing crops or down corn as needed. The redesigned frame-in-frame fold gives a lower profile and better visibility than previous models. Fold and go in less than 1 minute is a great time-saving feature. Lighting enhancements include LED stubble lights, end shield lights, and lighted outer gathering points for less fatigue during those long dark nights of harvest. Factory integrated stock deflectors feature easy installation, less added weight to the head, easy adjustments, and a reliable spring downforce. The head we had for this demo was a non-chopping head with Romax chopping stock rolls. Residue sizing with these rolls is 50% of the material or more being sized to less than 6 inches, which creates a less crop mat than what a chopping head does, and a blossom stock top for fast decomposition while requiring less power than the full Stockmaster chopping head. This may not be the best option for everyone in West Central and Central Minnesota, but may be a good option depending on the tillage practices and crop rotation, especially if horsepower is a limiting factor on your combine. The new headers to match the X9 series combines have a smart header controller mounted on each head. This will eliminate header calibration for each combine, help diagnostics with header-specific diagnostic codes, retain accurate header hour meter readings to allow better maintenance and warranty tracking, and also assure correct documentation inputs into the combine. The all-new X9 1100 boasts higher bushels per hour, more acres per day, more efficiency per bushel, and improved grain quality. Starting at the front, this combine features a 23% wider feeder house, a 4-strand conveyor chain, and reposition slats for smoother transition of crop to the feed accelerator. A full floating center floor, eliminating the front drum adjustment and a more consistent crop flow. Also, the 8-wing chevron feed accelerator has relocated to the rear of the feeder house for more consistent delivery of crop to the dual threshing rotors at any feeder house angle. From the feed accelerator, we transition to the dual separator, which in this case is dual 24-inch rotors in comparison to a S700 series being a single 30-inch rotor. This design increases threshing area by 45% and separating area by 80% by being 12 inches wider and 10 inches longer. Also incorporated is the active concave isolation, which is a hydraulic suspension system and a 1/2 width concaves, making service and crop change easier. The cleaning shoe also has some definite changes, like now using a 4-turbine cleaning fan versus a single large paddle style, and a front step pan replacing the shoe bed augers for an earlier start to separation process. With a 36% increase in cleaning area over the S790, this is the industry's largest cleaning shoe. With the large capacity of this combine, a large capacity grain handling system is also needed. 26, 28.5, and 31-foot folding augers are available with an unloading rate of 5.3 bushels per second, or 318 bushels per minute. Also, the system is sequenced with a 3-second differential between cross augers and horizontal auger. This will empty the horizontal auger at shutdown to reduce carried weight and start cross augers later at startup to reduce startup load on the drive system. Along with productivity, efficiency was a key in the development of the X9. The combination of a new 13.6-liter John Deere engine, a new ProDrive XL transmission, and a completely redesigned separator drive system, which focuses on large cask pulleys and long, efficient belt drives, results in up to a 20% reduction in fuel per bushel harvested. Comfort and visibility enhancements are enhanced with new lighting packages, new comfort and convenience packages, and the easy-to-use 4600 command center, and convenient multifunction control lever. Technology is built into this combine from front to back, with systems like Combine Advisor to automatically maintain your productivity settings and grain quality, active terrain adjustment to decrease grain loss going up and down hills, Harvest Smart feed rate to keep combine full and efficient, active yield calibration to help keep yield monitor calibrated in varying crops, vision track monitor to keep operator informed of changes, and engine speed management for fuel efficiency during road transport. Last but not least is the service and support built into this combine. John Deere has built superior telematics into new machines that greatly enhance our ability as your dealer to maintain a high level of support. Your combine can be remotely monitored by you or your dealer with JD Link alerts, expert alerts, and the machine dashboard. And we can more effectively assist you in operation, setup, and diagnostics with remote display access, remote programming, and Service Advisor Remote. So here's what we actually experienced in the field, with our first day in the field being October 19th. We received this combine late in the season, so our first demo day started out with less than ideal conditions. 34 degrees, light snow, and wet stalks, but at least no mud. The field was 200 bushels per acre average, 15% moisture, and standing well. With these conditions, we were able to push upwards of 6 miles per hour to as high as 6.5 before reaching horsepower limitations. After a couple of stops, make and verify settings, we ended up at 400 RPM rotor speed, 30 millimeters concave clearance, 1350 RPMs on the fan, 22 and 12 millimeter openings on the chaffer and sieve. For those of you who remember your settings, who question why the rotor speed seems like a very high speed, remember the rotor diameter is only 24 inches versus 30 in an S series, so a 20% addition is needed to obtain the same threshing tip speed. This screenshot shows those settings plus 7,158 bushels per hour rate, a 0.8 gallons of fuel per acre, and a rate of 31.8 acres per hour. This screenshot was probably a little higher yielding area of the field, as around 6,300 bushels per hour was more of an average seen on the monitor at these bushels per acre. Although I was not around later in the day, as conditions improved and stocks dried out, the operator was able to push even higher ground speeds, near 7 miles an hour, before reaching those same limitations. So what did we see on the ground and in the grain tank at this level of productivity? Grain loss was very acceptable for both the header and the combine. Tailings levels were low. Many cobs were whole or nearly whole at the rear of the combine. And the grain tank had a very clean sample with very little fines and nearly zero foreign material or broken cob. As a comparison, I have been using numbers compared to an S790, but in this case, we had an S770 in the same field. The S770 with an 8-row corn head was running nearly the same speed, slightly slower, 0.1 to 0.2 miles per hour less, and doing a very comparable job outside of a little bit more foreign material in the sample. So the reality is that the X9 1100 with a 16-row head was doing slightly over double with a slightly cleaner grain sample and much more efficient than the S770. More snow, and several days later, after snow melted off stocks, we were able to move to our next location. This location had similar field and crop conditions, leading to very similar results. We also had the opportunity for several different operators and farm organizations to ride and drive and experience the operation of the combine. This location gave us the opportunity of a better comparison, as we were running in the same field as an S790, which also had a 16-row corn head. At the end of the day, the customer told me he could produce 40 to 45% more productivity with the X9 1100 while achieving a much superior grain sample than he could with his own S790. Our final location of demonstration came on November 4th at a location farther south in our coverage area, where we again had the opportunity for several different customers to get in the cab. After our early snow had finally melted and the weather had turned back to a nice, dry, breezy fall day, we were able to find a field of corn that averaged around 230 to 240 bushels per acre, and with a moisture content of around 17.5%. We started on a full quarter and everything went very much as it had on the previous days, with the exception of the higher yields. It gave us the opportunity, higher bushels per hour that have been advertised for the X9 1100. With these yields, we were able to reach over 7,000 bushels per hour more consistently. As the day progressed, the conditions became drier. We did run into some issues that made some difference in our capacity. With stocks starting to break off and running higher amounts of material through the combine, we tried adjustments to the deck plate spacings, feeder house speed, ground speed, and other things with little or no change. Testing the stocks, we found that they were just so brittle that the aggressiveness of the chopping stock rolls was snapping them off, and there just wasn't a lot we could do to eliminate this issue at this point. We had some problems with stocks hanging up on the head, but mostly it was just feeding more material through the combine, and we were able to get through the day pretty well without too many stops. Even with the higher amounts of material going through the combine, the productivity of the combine seemed to hold a very good bushels per hour average, as well as acre per hour, and efficiency was still good. Common productivity while unloading on the go showed 62 to 6,800 bushels per hour, 1 to 1.1 gallons per acre of fuel usage, and around 28.5 acres per hour. Without unloading, the numbers would increase to 6,900 to 7,200 bushels per hour, 35 acres per hour, and the fuel usage would decrease to around 0.9 gallons per acre. Again, our grain quality was very good, but we did see a few leaves and broken stems in the grain sample because of the high amount of trash intake and busting up the extra stems. Grain loss, even with this amount of extra material, was still very good, but we were getting close to the limit of separating capacity as well. As far as the chopping stock rolls, they seem to do a very good job of sizing and crimping the stalks no matter what conditions we ran this machine in. My overall impression of the corn head is that the folding frame was very quick and efficient with good visibility for safe road transport. The gathering and feeding was good, with slow turning auger being noticeable in keeping good grain quality while still keeping capacity for these big numbers. The factory stock deflectors worked well, and we did not run at night or in down corn to see the effect of the lights or active end shields. As far as the chopping stock rolls versus Stockmaster chopping head, I would have to say that there were definitely mixed group opinions. Some farmers thought they were good, some farmers thought they were not enough. Crimping and sizing of stocks was consistent, and for some customers, the tillage practices what they may be looking for. But for other tillage practices or crop rotations, the Stockmaster chopping head will remain their choice. As far as this last day, the combination of brittle stalks and the chopping stock rolls was also not the best situation, as an opposed stock roll and a Stockmaster chopping head would have and did take a lot less trash into the combine. As far as impression of the combine, I believe our dealership personnel, as well as customers that had the opportunity to experience these demos, were all impressed with most, if not all, of the abilities of this machine. Capacity is very good. Threshing and separating was very good. Grain sample was excellent. Grain loss minimal. Grain handling system very efficient. The engine was smooth, quiet, and consistent. ProDrive XL transmission excellent, and the efficiency of the entire machine was excellent for the amount of acres covered per hour. My bottom line observation is this: we had the opportunity to run this combine in cornfields with yields from 200 to 240 bushels per acre average this year, and get multiple operators and different organizations in the combine for a test drive. Everyone that I talked to was impressed with the capacity and grain quality, as well as features of this new combine and head. So although large capacity combine demos in corn can be a logistical nightmare, and we started with some unusual early Minnesota snow, I still believe the hours spent and information gathered were very positive for the X9 1100, our customers, and Midwest Machinery. Again, thank you for joining us today.